Hello again YouTube, Carbelch here. Today we're taking a look at the Streamlight ProTac 2AAA. This is a stylus pin style light from Streamlight that is a bit of an upgrade to the Streamlight Stylus Pro that you may be familiar with. This light features an 80 lumen high mode, which is much higher than the 48 lumens of the Stylus Pro. This is also a multi-mode light. As you can see here, it has a high, strobe, and a low setting. If I can get back to the low setting, there we go. There's a low, this is 10 lumens, and that gives you 30 hours of average runtime. The strobe gives you 5 hours, and the high is 80 lumens at 1.5 hours. This also has an 80 meter throw, which is very nice for a light this size. The the Stylus Pro, excuse me, has about a 64 meter throw, so this gives you a significant improvement. However, it doesn't have a whole lot of flood beam. As you can see, it's pretty compact, which I definitely like the throw over the flood, but if you like a floodlight, you may be better off with something like a 4.7's Preon 2. This light is pretty reasonably priced. You're looking at about $30 to $35. I picked it up $35 locally. It's about $32 on Amazon. It has a nice little pocket clip. It has an anti-roll bezel, which works alright. As you can see, it takes a little while to stop, and if it gets rolling down a slope, it might keep going, but it's not too uncomfortable in hand like some anti-roll systems are, so there's definitely a trade-off there. You can see it's got a pretty small reflector there. This is, of course, Streamlight's C4 technology, so I can't really give you an idea of exactly what kind of LED emitters in there, but it definitely functions pretty well. Like I said, 80 lumens is pretty good for a light this size. I also like the strobe function. That's good for self-defense, and I do like the low feature as well. That gives you a lot of runtime if you're doing small detail work. One major complaint I do have is it's a little hard to cycle through the modes. You have to cycle through fairly quickly or you end up getting stuck in high mode. Like you can see there that it's staying in high, and that's cycling through fairly quickly. You know, you can get through it if you click faster, but it does take clicking fairly quickly. I don't have a huge amount of experience with 2 AAA lights. I usually like the single AAA more because this is kind of a long form factor. However, I know a lot of people like this pin style form factor, so I decided to pick one up to give it a try. One problem I do have is this light feels a little small in hand for me. The barrel is a very thin diameter, which makes it a little uncomfortable to hold, and with the pressure switch on the Streamlights being a little difficult to press sometimes, it tends to fatigue my hand a little bit during use. I think I would get used to it, but it makes it feel a little awkward for me. And then it may just be because I do have fairly large hands. It may work better for someone with smaller hand, but it is nice because it is a nice narrow diameter. You can see here it steps up to the bezel area, so you know, in pocket this would be a really comfortable light as far as diameter. Overall, this is a pretty good light. I think it's a nice upgrade to the Stylus Pro, which you can find for about $20, so you're taking a step up in price, but you're also getting almost double the light output, so I think it's a worthwhile upgrade. It does have a pretty nice pocket clip. However, I wish they would have gone with a pocket clip that they do on the MicroStream, which you can see here, that allows you to clip it facing forward on like a hat brim or something like that. This wouldn't work very good as a headlight because it's so long, but I feel like you could clip it onto something and make it face forward a little bit easier, which might be nice in some situations, and it would have been a pretty easy addition to just use the pocket clip they already have. I have heard that these buttons tend to wear out pretty quick. However, it does come with a replacement, and Streamlight's pretty good about replacing them if they do wear on you. Some manufacturers are hard to find replacement tail clickies, but with Streamlight it's no problem at all. So overall, this is a nice solid light. I definitely enjoy Streamlight's performance. They tend to run a little behind the curve as far as light output compared to some of the competitors like 4.7's and Nightcore and Phoenix, but I feel like they have very good quality and a very good value. And they're also available more locally. I picked this up at my local sporting goods store, which is important for me. I do like to shop locally when I can, so it's nice to be able to find these locally. Overall, good light. I recommend it if you're looking for a pin style light and want a little bit more output than the Stylus Pro and don't feel like ordering something in like a 4.7's Preon 2. I think this is comparable to Preon 2 based on price. This runs about $10 less than the Preon 2 most places I've seen, and you know, it definitely competes pretty well. It's not quite as bright, but it is a little bit thinner form factor, However, I wish the modes were a little easier to switch through. And unfortunately, like most Streamlight lights, I don't like that you have to go high, strobe, low. I'd prefer to have easier access to the low without having to cycle through strobe if I'm trying to use the light in low light conditions. However, those all issues I brought up are fairly minor. They're more personal preference than anything else. If this is your style light, this is definitely a good option to consider. I'd like to thank you all again for your views. Definitely don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with more videos.